This is The Cut. The Cut Podcast with Pete Fergusson. Film, music, games, entertainment. This is The Cut from Telegraph Talk.
Hello and welcome back to The Cut. This is your weekly dose of music, games, gadgets and more. In this week's podcast, Brit Award nominee Daniel Merriweather talks of his love of music but hate of autotune.
It's the first sign that music's sort of heading downhill when you need a computer to help you sing a song.
Our film critic Tim Roby picks his film of the week. And this time there's not one but two games experts in the studio to take a look at top new games coming to a store near you. But first, here's the Telegraph's gadget inspectors, or at least one half of them, Claudine Beaumont, who investigates what Apple may be about to launch in San Francisco.
This is The Cut.
So, Claudine, I suppose the first thing we should say is, whilst we're 99% sure this is the launch of the iTablet, we're not 100% sure. They do these big announcements, but without actually confirming what the gadget is. Is that right?
As you say, we're almost certain, but we're not 100% sure. And because Apple do tend to like having a trick up their sleeve, you never say never.
So, okay, it's called the iTablet, or is it called the iSlate, or is it called the iReader, or
it's called It's called all of those things because we don't know. We don't know for sure. We're not going to find out until the day of announcement itself. However, a web address, islate.com, has been bought and it's currently being parked by the company that usually parks all of Apple's URLs. So it's very likely that it could be called the iSlate.
So your money's on the iSlate?
I don't like that name. I prefer iTablet personally, but we'll see.
So what exactly is this iSlate thing? Is it just basically a giant iPod?
I think that's probably the best way of thinking about it. Yeah, like a giant iPhone or a giant iPod Touch. Probably going to have a 10-inch screen on it with multi-touch, so you'll be able to do all of the things you can do on your iPhone on this new tablet computer. It's very likely that it's going to be able to run mobile apps, but I think we're also looking at it to do quite a bit more than that as well. So they're in talks at the moment with a host of publishing companies, including the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, HarperCollins in the US, about getting digital content onto the iTablet platform.
So what does that actually mean?
So that means you'll be able to read your ebooks on the iTablet, your potentially your Daily Telegraph, your Wall Street Journal on there as well, and all with kind of rich multimedia content. So it'll be like an interactive newspaper. You know, you'll be able to click on the embedded video and things like that.
Now, the rumour is this is going to be an entertainment hub in your home.
Well, obviously, one of the things that the iPod Touch and the iPhone have been really successful at doing is kind of handheld gaming, almost like a challenger to the Sony PSP or the Nintendo DS. And when I spoke to Apple before, they were really surprised that this is what that device turned out to be so good at. They hadn't really expected that games would prove to be such a big hit. So I think they may carry some of that enthusiasm through into the iTablet, the iSlate, by making it into almost, I want to say, like a home games console. I'm not talking about anything as impressive as the Xbox 360 or PS3, but some kind of like home entertainment device. So you'll be able to use it to stream music and movies from the iTablet, perhaps to your television through maybe an HDMI cable. You'll also be able to download games onto it that you can play at home, maybe through your television again. It's all a bit up in the air, but I think we can look at the things they've done in the past to look and see what they might be doing in the future.
But is it going to be portable? Can you take it on the tube, do you think?
This is the thing that a lot of people have got trouble getting their head around at the moment, is where does this device fit in? So you've got your phone that you've got in your pocket, and that's what you use when you're on the tube. You've got your laptop that you might use if you're out and about on business or, you know, at home in the living room, and the computer that you use in your office. Where does a tablet computer fit into that? Which is what makes me... It's awkward size. It's too big for a pocket. You know, it doesn't do probably as much as a laptop does. So where does it fit in? I think it is going to be portable, but I think the secret of the success of this iTablet, if it does prove to be what they launch and it is a good device, is going to be the ecosystem that Apple builds around it. So much as they did with the iPod and iTunes, and they kind of, you know, connected together the idea of, hey, you want to listen to music on the go, buy a song from iTunes, listen on your iPod. They're going to have to come up with something really similar, like a paradigm shift in the way that we use technology with the tablet to, I think, make it appeal to a broad audience. Otherwise, it could run the risk of falling between a rock and a hard place.
What is your hunch about the actual physical design of the unit?
Johnny Ive, who's their design genius, responsible for everything from those translucent iMacs to the all-in-one iMacs with the angle poise kind of lamp designed to them.
Is he British?
He's British, yeah, yes. So. He's probably come up with some crazy new way of making it look that's just going to blow all of our minds. Who knows?
Just very quickly, have you heard any rumours about launch date or prices?
We're thinking at this stage that it's probably going to be going on sale sometime in March or April. It's going to take them a while to ship it around places. Price-wise, it ain't going to be cheap. Probably probably £1,000.
Ouch, that's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot. Are you going to be there at the launch?
I am going to be there. I'm going to be in San Francisco, out there with Apple, to hopefully get the inside view on some things, maybe talk to some bigwigs there if we're very, very lucky. So yeah, I'm going to be at the event and bringing you the latest news and reactions.
Sounds very exciting. Might have to go and see my bank manager first, though, before I can afford one. Claudine, thanks very much. And The Cut will be live in San Francisco for that very launch from Apple. And if you want to see the iSlate yourself, make sure you check out telegraph.co.uk/The Cut. And for up-to-the-minute news, you can follow us throughout the week at twitter.com/The Cut Podcast.
The Cut from telegraph.co.uk.
You took something perfect and painted it red.
Still to come, though, Daniel Merriweather talks about his love of music. Up next, though, here's film critic Tim Roby.
Film.
So let's talk films. Hello again.
Hi, how you doing?
Very good, thank you. Starting off with A Prophet, which won an award at Cannes.
And rightly so. It won the second highest award in Cannes. It should have won the main one, I think. It's one of the absolute films of the year.
Okay, so that means you obviously like it.
It's tremendous. It's sort of a great prison movie is what it is. It's quite an epic, and it's about this guy's life in prison from the minute he gets in there for the whole 6 years that he's there, sentenced for assaulting a policeman. So he's this French Arab kid who goes in at the age of 19, and he's immediately having to find his feet, and he's kind of adapting to survive. The kid who plays him is fantastic. It's this guy called Tahar Rahim, and it's directed by this guy Jacques Audiard, but this is, I think, his best film ever, and it's just everything about it just works in such beautiful harmony. It's fantastic. It's really quite an amazing piece of work, I think.
Okay, so that's A Prophet. It obviously won the award at Cannes, but what about your score?
I'd definitely give it 5. It's so far my film of the year, and I imagine it will be for the rest of the year, to be honest.
What about Matt Dillon in Armage, rated 12A?
Well, this is kind of a heist movie gone wrong. It's the kind of usual formula. Matt Dillon, Lawrence Fishburne, Jean Reno, a couple of other people play these truck drivers, security truck guys. $42 million they've got in the back of their trucks on this one day, and their plan is that they'll kind of like stow it away somewhere and then pretend to have been hijacked, so they kind of keep the money.
Good idea.
Very good idea. The guy who joins along with them is Columbus Short, who's kind of the main character, and he's this Iraq veteran. He's desperate for the money, so he kind of goes along with it on the condition no one gets hurt. He doesn't want blood on his hands. And the first thing that really goes terribly wrong is that this old vagrant guy witnesses them stowing the money away. They kill him. And so Columbus Short is suddenly like, I can't go on with this. I'm going to have to switch teams. And for the rest of the movie, it's kind of them versus him. It's kind of a really good B movie. It feels quite old-fashioned to me. I was
going to say, yeah, it seems like a familiar sort of plot.
It is familiar, and it has its hokey elements. I think it could have been made with a little bit more humour and a little bit more finesse.
Sounds very interesting, but what sort of score then for Armid?
It's a really good 3, and for me that's a good recommendation. 4, it has to be something special, but 3, it just does everything you want it to do.
3.5.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Natalie Portman in Brothers, rated 15.
Well, the brothers in this are Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal. One of the brothers goes away to war and is captured. His helicopter is down. This is Tobey Maguire in this one, and he's reported dead back to the States, and his wife, Natalie Portman, is sort of faced with having to bring up their 2 young daughters on her own. Jake Gyllenhaal kind of comes in and tries to help her out and kind of like fixes up the kitchen and looks after the kids and becomes a bit of a surrogate father. And it's like something is looking as though it's just about to happen between the two of them when suddenly Tobey Maguire manages to escape captivity in Afghanistan and comes back. It's a workable premise. I just don't think that the performances are good enough in this film.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think Tobey Maguire carries enough weight to pull this role off. Tobey Maguire is too much of a lightweight still, and you can see him really trying, and it's just not quite there. It's kind of like watching sort of an insect throw a tantrum somehow.
Love that description.
The one who comes out of it best is Jake Gyllenhaal, who I find very watchable, and he kind of has the easiest task in a way, but I thought he was fine. But on the whole, the performances aren't there, and the script is really lets the side down.
Okay, so weak script and average Tobey Maguire has affected your score in which way?
It goes down to a 2, unfortunately. It's got some good elements, but it's a bit of a plodding film.
All right, brilliant. So that means your film of the week is A Prophet.
Definitely A Prophet.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I think Clive's going to be talking to you next week.
Excellent.
And all the latest film, news and reviews can be found online at telegraph.co.uk/The Cut. And if you want to get in contact with us, you can do that anytime. It's The Cut at telegraph.co.uk.
This is The Cut. Music.
Daniel Merriweather has been nominated at the Brit Awards for International Breakthrough Act. We managed to catch up with the man himself who talked about his love of music.
You know, I wanted to make an album I could put on in 20 years and still listen to. I'm hugely influenced by, you know, Stevie Wonder and Jeff Buckley and D'Angelo and you know, Otis Redding, a whole bunch of different artists. And I think that, you know, I just wanted to write songs and put an album out full of songs. I mean, I love singing, I always have. I've been singing since I was 10 years old. And before that I played the violin. I guess for me it's always just been what I do. I mean, it's almost like so a part of me that I don't even know, I can't even differentiate. I never made a decision to be a singer sort of thing, you know. But it's all I'm really have ever really wanted to do, and I think it's probably the only thing I can do to any sort of level of quality. But you know, it's just been, it's kind of just always been something I would do, whether I had a record deal, whether I was just at home writing songs. I think I would always, you know, I would always sing.
And I can't do this by myself. All of these problems, they're all in your head. And I can't be somebody else. You took something perfect and painted it red.
Of course, I mean, autotune is just, it's kind of like, it's the first sign that music's sort of heading downhill when you need a computer to help you sing a song. You're meant to get in the studio and record the music with a bunch of people who play their instruments well, and you're meant to sing a song from start to finish. And the computer's only meant to record you, you know? Or, you know, the computer should not really take any part in the creative process, you know. And I think that now it's just like computers are almost making the whole song for people. It's kind of ridiculous. But then again, you know, I love T-Pain. I'm a huge T-Pain fan for some reason. I think he writes brilliant melodies, but he's the only person who I allow in my iPod to use auto-tune on their voice.
All of these problems, they're all in your head. And I can't be somebody else. You took something perfect and painted it red. You took something perfect and painted it red.
The Cut, Thursdays from The Telegraph.
And that was Daniel Merriweather talking to telegraph.co.uk. If you want to see that interview in full, check out telegraph.co.uk/The Cut. You can also find the latest music news and reviews online, including an interview with the So Solid crew. Yes, they're back, but this time older and wiser.
Games.
Okay, let's talk games then. Nick Cowan and Tom Hoggins are both here in the studio. Hello again, guys.
Hello.
So, 3 games this week, starting off with Heavy Rain. Tom, what is Heavy Rain?
Well, Heavy Rain is a dark thriller from the guys that brought us Fahrenheit and The Nomad Soul. I mean, what it is being pegged as the new level for storytelling in video games. Mm-hmm. David Cage, the director, his idea is that Heavy Rain is like a rubber band. You can twist it and you can deform it, but you can't break it, and at the end of the day it's still a rubber band.
That sounds amazing. So you can change the story as you go.
You actually said that you could, like, if you're playing a particular character and you die in the middle of the game just carries on and adjusts to sort of...
I mean, the whole idea is that it disposes of a lot of game conventions like game over and continues. You know, if something happens, then it happens. Then there's no retries, there's no game overs or anything like that.
I'm imagining this thing has tons of replay value then, because every single time you play it will probably be different depending on how you do.
I mean, that'll be the big test, that and the fact that a game like this will live and die on its story.
Alright, cool. So that's Heavy Rain. Now, one game I know you've been looking forward to playing, Nick, is Mass Effect 2.
Yes, Mass Effect 2, sequel to Mass Effect 1, very imaginatively entitled sequel. But it is basically... Mass Effect is kind of like, it's a space opera. It's an epic space opera. BioWare produced this this game, which is, it rolls elements of third-person shooter, cover fire, aliens, obviously,
Lovely aliens.
You know, RPG. But what really sells me on it, and what really sells me on the sequel, is the fact that the story is utterly brilliant. I mean, you could say yes, it is disposable science fiction pulp, but it is really engaging science fiction pulp to the point where you actually start to care about the characters. You basically play a commander called Shepard, which you can decide is a boy or a girl, and you command a ship called the Normandy. Basically, you're trying to save mankind as we know it from a race of ships that eat human beings called the Reapers. Your mission basically is to go around the galaxy and sort of round up a crew of heavies, which and I think that dictates to a degree how you play the game, is the people in the crew that you've got, you know, how you will approach the missions that come up to you. But I've only played like the first couple of levels for it, but it looks fantastic. They've also fixed what was broken in the last game, like the cover system, for example, now actually works. And, you know, I can't speak highly enough of it.
Okay, so it sounds like a must-have game then for the Xbox
Absolutely.
And PC as well, I believe. Mm-hmm. All right, okay. What's this Alan Wake business?
The Chinese democracy of video games. Alan Wake's been in development now for, what is it, since 2003?
It was originally pegged as one of the 360's first big games.
It's developed by a Finnish company called Remedy. They were the guys behind Max Payne 1 and 2. Not the movie, the games, which were good, unlike the movie. Basically, you play a horror writer who goes on retreats to some woodland areas where he types up his novels. And what you've been writing about starts to come to life in the woods around you. We haven't been allowed to touch it. We haven't been allowed to play with it. No one's allowed to. But we are meeting with Sam Lake next week, so we'll be writing a preview interview piece on that, which will be online.
So this is quite a big deal then, this game, or not?
Well, this is the thing. You have to ask the question, which we will, has it missed its chance? I mean, Alan Wake got into development quite a long time ago. Since it's been in development, you've had the Wii arrive, which completely changed the face of gaming. You've had high-definition gaming arrive. I'm not sure what the story of why Alan Wake has taken so long to arrive is, which is hopefully what we'll find out next week. But we kind of have to look at this game and say, can it compete against what's currently being made for next-gen consoles? Has it been left behind in the dust?
I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
Still looks great. I mean, lighting-wise, looks fantastic, which is very important because he uses light as a weapon and all that kind of stuff. So
now, I know you guys sometimes just get the preview copies as opposed to the full edition of these games. Have you actually had a chance to score any of these games for us?
No, and I'm going to leave off scoring stuff until I've played the final build.
These are all,
and that's a good thing.
Yes,
it's a good thing.
But this is the thing, we have played preview copy for Mass Effect, and I will stand by my initial recommendation. It looks fantastic.
We'll have Mass Effect review very soon.
And you've played code for Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
Brilliant. As soon as we get the full reviews, of course, they'll be online, telegraph.co.uk/the cut. And next week, I think we're talking about BioShock 2 and a few other games as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
And as always, all the very latest games, reviews and gossip online at telegraph.co.uk/the cut. But that's it for this week. Thank you very much indeed for listening. If you want to get in contact, you can do that. It's The Cut at telegraph.co.uk, or you can find us on Facebook and twitter.com/The Cut Podcast. Next week, we'll be in San Francisco for that launch of the brand new Apple gadget. I'm Pete Fergusson, and that was The Cut.